Hello again. It might be boring, and I know we talk about it a lot, but it's important to realise that the way to build fitness is to be consistent and consistently make incremental gains, day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. You need your hard and your easy sessions, and you need your hard and your easy weeks. But the hard weeks are where you break down your body, and the easier weeks are when you recover and adapt and come back stronger. There used to be a trend to call bigger sessions breakthrough sessions, and breakthroughs do occur, and training doesn't seem to develop in this stepwise fashion. It seems to, like, you get a boost in fitness and then you can consolidate that, or if you get overly excited you can destroy it by doing too much. So fitness does increase in steps, but these steps aren't very easy to predict. And it occurs in steps due to consistent hard work. It doesn't occur in steps due to some magic session that you might have read about or seen on YouTube or even seen on this channel. It occurs by consistently making incremental gains. And similarly, things go wrong incrementally. You might do some mega hard session that destroys you for a couple of days, but if you actually take the couple of days off to recover, then your fitness can continue to progress. So having some mechanism to spot when things might be going a bit wrong, where things are drifting off track, where you might be a little bit overtired or a little bit more grumpy than usual, or work stresses having an impact on your training, or your training's overly hard and you need to take some recovery time, is a really useful way to go. And that's something that I've been spending a lot of time thinking about and working on. Recently I've been using AI tools, which I think I mentioned in a previous video, and I've been adapting the spreadsheet tool that, if you've watched my previous videos, I have a spreadsheet for planning. You can get a free download of the planning spreadsheet from the link in the description. But also I've got this tracking traffic light system, and I've adapted the spreadsheet to include a tracking sheet, and you can also download that from a link in the description. The workbook is the planning sheet and the traffic light sheet, and they're linked. So that what you can do is when you do a training session, or when you've done some training sessions, you can mark the days, whether you think it's a yellow day, a red day, or a green day, and you can set up triggers in the spreadsheet to give you a bit of a flag. If you look at the triggers we've got here, you can see that green days you get a good sleep, you feel happy, you've got no bad symptoms, your intensity factor is quite good for your endurance rides, you're not struggling to complete the training sessions, and you've got clear boundaries between work and life. And then for the yellow zone, you might, if your sleep's getting a bit worse, you're not having happiness, you're not feeling happy, a lot of the time you might be feeling a bit miserable or down, you've got mild negative symptoms, you're not able to sustain a good intensity during your endurance training sessions. And you might be feeling guilty about training because other things are getting in the way. Your life's becoming more stressful, and therefore you think, I should be sorting that out, sorting things for the family out, or sorting things, or working more, and therefore your training might start to suffer. And the red zone's obviously a step further. And these give you the triggers to highlight the different zones by clicking on the drop-down menu. Update the triggers if you make some notes in your whatever training diary you use. Training Peaks is great, make some notes. And then when you see, this week's trending negatively, what's going on, you can look at your notes and review them. Or if you work with us, we would do a dump of your Training Peaks data, including comments, and then we can review that as a big chunk and spot patterns in that process, and then revise things in a bit more holistic way. Or you obviously can do that yourself if you can export the data. So with this, you're doing daily status checks, you're using your sleep data. If you use an activity tracker, you can get your sleep data from Garmin or Whoop or a Ring or whatever you use. You can check out your HRV, your overnight averages, or your morning readings, and collect all that information together. I don't think it's good to be too sophisticated about it. I just look at this, here, hopefully you can see that. Just have a look at this. I sort of look down the list here, look at the triggers and say, I'm in training, green zone for training, or yellow zone for work and life, and red zone for well-being. And then I can make a judgment on my overall feeling. And I think rather than trying to pin down the metrics really accurately, it's better to just take an overall feel of things, because our bodies are, intuition's quite a useful tool, and it's very easy to get hung up on numbers and trying to quantify everything, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to quantify everything, but we're trying to do it in a in a more intuitive way, so that we're quantifying subjective feelings to give us a pattern of how the subjective feelings are developing in a negative or hopefully a positive way, to build training incrementally and build fitness. And what quite often happens is we get all enthusiastic, we create a training plan, it's okay, it's sustainable for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even a month or so, and then things start to go a little bit wrong. And that might be when you start to get more yellow days. It would be normal to have some yellow days because you're stressing your body. If you don't stress your body, it won't adapt, you won't be able to build fitness. So at the end of a really hard week, or after a very hard weekend, if you're doing ultra events, you might have done a couple of days hard back to back, or even if you're training for normal events, called normal events, your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hour events, you might do a hard interval session one day, back that up with a long ride or a long run, and then on Monday you might be in the yellow zone, you might be worn out. And that would be normal, and then you would hope that in the next few days you'd get back to the green zone so that your body's adapted, and that is another indication of training readiness. It's a way of doing it in a more subjective way, where you're more involved in the process, so you can look at the pattern yourself and think, oh, actually, this is right, this is wrong, this is not really how I'm feeling. You're actually in as part of the process, and you're taking the numbers into account yourself, which I think is a better way to do it. I mean, this system's not perfect, but it's something that's in progress, and it'd be great if you got involved in the process. So you can use this spreadsheet system. You can create a training plan for your event. You can see the one on the screen is roughly focused on London, Edinburgh, London next year, and then you can track the days, and you can correlate the training plan with the tracker, and if you drifted in the wrong direction, you can review your training plan, and you can use your training diaries, your training peaks, and your activity trackers to sort of influence the colours. So what I'm trying to do is add a useful level that's not too difficult to implement, that addresses the shortfalls in the more conventional systems that people are using. Anyway, I hope you find it useful and interesting. Download the spreadsheet, have a go with it. Let me know how you get on. Let me know if you think you could change it in any way and improve it, and I'll do that. And then next week, we can have another download and see how we go with that, and see if we can learn with each other. And if you want some help, we can set up this system for you. It's obviously a bit more involved. We put a lot of time into interviewing you, discussing things. You fill in a questionnaire. We analyse all your data over the last year, whatever data you've got, Training Peaks comments, any comments you've got in a online journal, and we put that all into an artificial intelligence engine and come up with your traffic light system, your quick response system, and use that tracking and work with you with having monthly reviews or weekly reviews depending on what you want and what package you're on. Anyway, I hope it all makes sense and it's not a load of nonsense. Remember, we're trying to make small gains. The fundamentals to being successful in building fitness or improving anything is making small gains that compound and build on top of each other, and doing that consistently without breaks, because if you have a break you lose things. This reversibility theory. So what we're trying to do is create a system that allows us to quickly spot when things are drifting in the wrong direction and get things back going in the right direction. And obviously the best time to start is now. If you start now, then you're a little bit fitter tomorrow, you're making progress, and the next day you're a little bit fitter, and the next day you're a little bit fitter. And if you want our help, then obviously start now, get in touch now, and we'll arrange a meeting to discuss how we can help you. Okay, I hope you like it. See you in the next video. Bye.